Hello everyone, Educator here, and welcome back to my newcomer's guide to Dark Souls Remastered. In the last episode, we ended up reaching the area Sen's Fortress, and we kind of got about maybe the halfway point of Sen's Fortress, basically kind of made a beeline to the bonfire. With that, though, we're going to be heading into the rest of Sen's Fortress. We're going to tackle the Iron Golem, who is the boss of this area, but before we do that, we got a few items to get. We also have to rescue a guy named Logan. We also have to deal with the guy that is on top of this arena throwing explosives at us. So we're going to go ahead and continue on, head in here, and this area should be familiar from the previous episode. Now, if you make a fairly quick run for this, you should be fine, but just be aware you've got a guy who is throwing stuff at you. You will not be able to make that jump, by the way, without being, medium roll, I would say. So just be aware of that. And there's an enemy who is up there throwing explosives, and so getting over here, though, you actually get a special item that you can't get otherwise without doing that jump. So do that jump, and then you'll get the sniper crossbow and sniper bolt. Down here, we've got a Balder Knight. And these guys are a little stronger than they were before. And they can drop Titanite as well as large Titanite shards. Around the corner here, we got another one. And then in here, we have a flame stone plate ring. And this is basically them trying to convince you, hey, you probably need this now because you're going to be dealing with people throwing fire at you. So yes, we're going to equip that now. And if you're fast about this, you should be able to make it back without getting hit. But if you're kind of slow about this, you may end up getting hit. So we don't want to linger anywhere too long. So head up here, grab this. And he's already thrown a fireball down that way. And then down here, I'm going to go ahead and equip the steel ring again. So these guys are kind of the same as they were before, but they do a little bit more damage this time. They also don't seem to do the shield bash nearly as often. I seem to have to sit and wait for them to use that. So again, just circle around them, try to stay on their side with their weapon. It should be fine. He dropped a large Titanite shard. Next, we're going to head down here. And up here is Ricard, or at least I assume he's Ricard. He has Ricard's weapon. So it's a rapier that you can get. And then in here we have a couple of items. This is a Divine Blessing. This will heal you of basically everything and full cure you. And then this is the Rare Ring of Sacrifice. We'll actually be using this in Saitoh Scaleless' boss fight. Because we're guaranteed to take a death the first time we meet Saitoh Scaleless, and we'll actually be cursed if we don't equip it. So that will both allow you to keep your souls. It'll also ensure that you don't get cursed in the process. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and head back. I'm gonna go ahead and switch out for my flame ring. Now again, if you're fast about this, you'll probably not get attacked because he's pretty slow. But again, you want to be fast about your runs. Down here is another Balder Knight. I got more Titanite. Down that path is nothing. And we're going to head up here. Got another run. If you're fast enough, you should not need the actual ring. But as you can see, he toasted the area. Alright, so this is the boss battle. If you go this way, there is the Iron Tarkus. He will help us with the boss battle a little bit later. So you'll want to be human, you know, at some point before you take on this boss. But we still have a lot of items to get, so we're going to head up here, though, and we're going to kill the giant. The giant basically has a couple of attacks. He will pound the ground. He will step on the ground. He'll also do this very fast, angry stepping. And the fast, angry stepping will do a massive amount of damage if you let yourself get hit by it. So there's a kick. Swipe with his arms. So again, going between his legs is one of the best options. Nobody would do the angry thing. So there's his normal stomp. The angry stomp will be a lot faster. There's the normal stomp. Still a normal stomp. I'm surprised. Usually they do an angry stomp by now. That being said, we got a couple more of these guys to deal with, so we'll probably see it on one of the other fights. So, got a Titanite chunk from that, and now we will not have anybody throwing crap at us for this boss fight. We're not going to go for the boss quite yet. Still got to go get all the items. So we're going to go ahead and head back down. You don't need to go all the way around here, just drop off right here. And then we're going to go ahead and head down. I guess I could have probably dropped off there too. Both ways back are pretty fast though. Alright, so you don't want to be fat rolling for this, so we're going to be jumping that. If you fall, you'll probably die. And this is an NPC who will sell you some stuff. So he sells black fire bombs, green blossoms, he sells you some of your Titanite gear. He'll also sell you some items that you may have not been able to get earlier. Balder Shield is not a guaranteed drop, Tower Shield is not a guaranteed drop. Great Sword was. We found the Great Sword in... or was it the Great Sword? I can't remember. We found a Great Sword, though, in the depths. Anyway, he also has the Katarina gear, he has the Steel gear, and the Balder gear, so if you want any of those, you can buy that. And then finally, he has the Thunder Stoneplate ring, as well as the Spell Stoneplate ring. So these are actually pretty interesting, because they do help you with improving your defense. In particular, the Thunder Stoneplate ring might be beneficial for you, especially if you've been struggling in the game. We're going to be facing Ornstein and Smo in... probably not the next episode, but maybe the episode after that. He's basically the final... he's one of the bosses of Anor Londo. And, or they are, I should say, because there's two of them. So, Smo is a really fat guy, and he will end up using lightning damage. And then if you kill Smo first, Ornstein will absorb him, and he will gain his lightning capabilities as well. So, this can be really useful against them if you're worried about it. In my opinion, though, it's easy enough to avoid those attacks if you're careful, so I'm not going to personally buy it, but it is a consideration for you. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and head down. We got another one of these. It's worth mentioning, these ones are actually a good bit more dangerous than the other serpent men or man serpents. For one thing, these have, of course, the electric magic. They also have this wind-up attack that does extensive bleed damage for you, and it's actually an instant kill at our level of health. So just be aware of that. You have to have a lot more health in order to tank that attack. And then they also can poison you. They can also bite you pretty hard. It's a much more devastating bite attack than the other one can do. So, a lot more dangerous. Kill them quick. If you're ever fighting two of them at the same time, kill that one first. Anyway, we got the cage key. That's going to open up access to another couple of areas in the game. In this fortress, I should say. Again, we're going to head back the way we came. And now we can open these cages that we ended up passing earlier. And this becomes an elevator. Now be careful, this is going to bring us back to an area that has enemies in it. We should be able to pretty easily avoid them if you're careful. So, guy right there, we're going to go ahead and step in, go under the bridge. And then I'm going to equip my bow to deal with this guy. I'm going to hit him. Ooh. I'm going to hit him this time with poison arrows. And he's got poison. I'm just going to leave him, and then we're going to go ahead and move on. We're basically heading back to kind of the entrance to this particular area, because we're going to be going down there here in a few minutes, and we need to deal with these guys now, because otherwise they're going to be attacking us while we're trying to deal with Titanite demons. It's usually 3 shots will get them poisoned. It's also worth mentioning that you'll notice that I'm not doing much damage at this range. That's something that will improve. The range part will improve with the longbow. And the actual range, you know, how far you can actually hit enemies from, doesn't really change. But in this case, usually the only reason why we're going to be hitting something from this far away will end up being because we want to poison it. And you can still poison the enemies regardless of how much damage you're actually doing per hit. Alright, so they are poisoned. Actually, that one's not poisoned. Okay, now they're all poisoned. So by the time we get down there, they should be dead. Just try not to die between now and the time we get down there. Again, these ones you're going to have to go through at once. Don't step on the pad. Ignore him for now. We're going to be rolling a cannonball down on him here in a bit. And we're going to go ahead and head up here. We want to make sure that we kill her, by the way, or it. I'm assuming it's a her, because usually Nagas with more than 2 arms, I think, are female. Anyway, kill her, because even if she stays up there, she will almost certainly follow you into here. And you don't want to be sandwiched between 2 of these enemies. So let him take that damage. Alright, so we're going to have the boulder coming down. You hear that sound in the background again. That's the thing changing, so this time around, though, we're going to go ahead and head up. We're not going to head all the way up, though. We're going to drop off here, do a plunging attack. You should be able to kill this guy. We got a large soul item there, and then we're going to go ahead and head down this path. We're going to head up. This is the Black Sorcerer gear, and then we're going to open up a shortcut that we're going to use here in a few minutes. You might remember this from earlier when I pointed it out. So next we're going to go back out and head across the opposite way. And again, assuming that you've not died at this point, what do you call it? The guys that were shooting electricity earlier should be dead at this point. You can come over here, and we're going to get an item real quick. This is a ring that will make you silent, the Slumbering Dragon Crest ring. And these are those enemies, so we're on that the opposite location now, so you should see each of those enemies dead. Anyway, we're going to come around here, and we actually need to go down here. So you kind of drop off here. Each of these ledges kind of goes a little bit further down. So you can basically drop down each of these ledges one at a time. And that'll be the safest way down. Drop attack this guy for a good chunk of damage. So these guys are doing a lot more damage now. Ooh, man, I forgot. Equip the rusted iron ring. Ooh, otherwise you're gonna regret it. So as you can see, they do a lot more damage. You're going to actually do a lot more damage to them at this point too, but it is going to feel like they're hitting you a lot harder, because they are. Again, each time you kill one of these, they get stronger. All the rest of them in the game get stronger anyway. Okay, so Demon Titanite, another soul item, and this is a scythe. So we have another Titanite demon over here. Again, if you are struggling with them, you do not have to kill them. But I'm going to kill this one, and I'm going to point you at two more that are here as well. This one's more out in the open though, so in my opinion he's a little bit easier to deal with. That's the grab attack, avoid that. Alright, so we got a Demon Titanite. There are two more of these guys down this path. They're in quick succession though, and while you're dealing with one, the other one will be attacking you. We will come back for them later. In my opinion, they're going to start getting too hard now to deal with them with the amount of damage that we're doing now. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and head up this ladder. Here we have another soul item. Before we drop down there, though, we're going to go ahead and head up here. This actually takes us to another giant. And this is actually the giant that opened up the gate to Sen's Fortress to begin with. So this one's in a slightly larger area. Again, swinging at him a couple times and stepping through his legs should be fine. And we got a Titanite chunk. Nice. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and head back down. Drop down here. And we're going to go ahead and continue. We actually need to make it back to the room that has the thing to twirl around that affects where the ball is actually going. Finally going to make use of that thing. Again, don't worry about him. We're going to kill him in a funny way here in a moment. So again, that sound, that's going to cause one of these things to roll down this way. I don't like attempting the run, so we're going to take the shortcut that we opened up a few minutes ago. So, I'm going to drop down here. Head in here. We're actually going to go up this section this time. So we want the boulder to roll down this direction. That's going to kill that guy at the end of the hall there. And it's also going to break open the wall. That's where we'll go rescue Logan. So we're going to push this thing down this way. So he just took some damage. We're going to wait for him to die from the successive boulders, and then we're going to go ahead and move this thing a different direction and then head down there. And he's dead. Alright, so we'll go ahead and push this maybe this way. That should be fine. And then we're going to go ahead and head down. And hey, he dropped something. This is probably the Great Serpent Sword. Great Sword. Yes, that's such a great weapon. Alright, so over here we got Logan. We're going to go ahead and open up his cell. Talk to him. He will end up back at Firelink Shrine. Actually, he'll be next to Griggs, the other sorcerer, and he will train you in some more advanced sorceries. And then in here we got a soul item. Okay, so now we're going to head back to the version of these things that are elevators, and we're going to take one back to the boss. So we're heading back the way we came. Again, avoid this plate. And we're going to have to do these again, this time in the opposite order. Alright, so now we're going to head up. Actually, we'll head down. I'm going to go ahead and hit the bonfire real quick since I've only got one Estus flask. But thankfully the guy who's throwing crap at us will not respawn. This guy, by the way, is the guy who's feeding the balls for that thing. You can kill him if you want to, and he has a chance to drop Titanite. He will also respawn, whereas the other two will not. So be aware of that. Otherwise, though, we're going to go ahead and head back to the bonfire. Alright, we're going to get us a couple of levels. We're up to 25 now. And I'll go ahead and repair my gear too, actually. Okay. We're going to go ahead and head back up the way we came. And we're going to go ahead and head towards the boss now. So other than that guy shooting his crossbow at us, it's pretty much a straight shot there. Because he'll respawn. And for whatever reason, this boulder knight on the left doesn't actually chase us. So at this point, you want to be human, by the way, because we are going to be summoning in help for this boss. Though this boss is pretty easy, we certainly don't need it, but we're going to make the boss even easier. So this is Iron Tarkus. We will summon his help. This guy's kind of a dummy, by the way, so as you're kind of stepping out here, if you don't want him to fall off, I have seen him fall off this this platform before. Just kind of keep him in the center. And don't do any rolls. Anything that he might repeat. Okay. So we're about to head in for the Iron Golem. The Iron Golem has some pretty heavy attacks. He will swing his sword horizontal and cause a shockwave to be sent your way. Yes, you can block it. However, it will still do damage through your shield, so just be aware of that. And then you can also roll through it if you want to. That's what I usually do. That being said, there's a mound kind of in the center of the arena. And oftentimes, whenever he's far enough to do that attack, it'll actually hit the mound instead of you. So you might get lucky on that whenever you get into this fight. In addition, he'll pound his sword into the ground. He'll grab you if you're basically in the front of his legs. So we want to get behind him in most cases whenever we're dealing damage to him. Iron Tarkus can pretty much solo this guy, I will say. However, there is one thing that you can do that will make this fight even easier if you don't have Iron Tarkus with you. You can actually go to one of the bridges. So there's a bridge to and there's a bridge from. In my opinion, this particular bridge is a little harder to do, but the bridge on the opposite end of him, if you get him on the bridge and you hit his legs enough, he will stagger. And then if you hit his legs some more, I usually do a couple of jump attacks, and that's usually enough, he will fall off the bridge. There is some RNG, though, because of what direction he's facing, as well as what direction he falls. But you can try that if you would like to. If he falls off the bridge, he's dead. But you can also get him to fall off other places, too, in this arena. However, that's, in my opinion, the most consistent. For now, though, we'll go ahead and head into the battle. So he's pretty much going to do it immediately, and we're going to roll. There's his slam. There's his stagger. There's his fall. While he's on the ground, he's very susceptible to being attacked. So I'm going to keep swinging at him. and he's already dead. As you can see, not a difficult boss. As long as you don't get grabbed by him. Anyway, he's got the core of an iron golem, which will be able to get us some items a little later, some weapons. We basically have to pick. I happen to like the weapons, even though a lot of people don't seem to like the weapons, but I think they're cool. We'll get to see those later. Anyway, we also got humanity. Humanity, of course, is always good. Now, if you are struggling, you can head back to the bonfire from here, but we've got a pretty close bonfire whenever we get into Anor Londo. So I'm going to go ahead and use the Ring of Light. And some of these demons are going to come pick us up and take us to Anor Londo. Now, if you go back up to this demon, you can return to Anor Londo if you want to, so you're not stuck here. But it is a long trek back to Andre. So we're just going to go ahead and continue. Once we finish this area, we will have access to the ability to travel from bonfire to bonfire. Not every bonfire is travelable. You can travel from every bonfire, but you can't travel to every bonfire. So these guys are new enemies for you. They have the ability to ground pound. Jump attacks work really well once they do that. Does a whole mess of damage. They also, of course, have a halberd. They have a few different attacks with their halberd. Come on, do something. Do something other than the ground pound. There we go. So he'll do a stab. He'll do a swing. He does also, if you're a little farther away from him, he'll do a wide swing. I like waiting for him to do that, though, because you can pretty much nail him if you nail him right as he pounds the shield into the ground. Anyway, there's a couple more of these guys over here. I'm going to get one to come to me at a time. Ooh. I did not think I was going to get hit by that. Okay, at least I didn't take the brunt of that. I did so good against the other one. Stabs work too, though. Alright, and then there's another one in here. Now we're a little more open. This won't be that bad. Oh, I can't believe I missed that. Sometimes you're going to impact his shield at really odd angles. Okay, there we go. Now again, you could just run through here. Left side there, by the way, is going to be your bonfire. Got a Demon Titanite. And now we'll go ahead and head for the bonfire. In the next episode, we're going to end up heading into that area in front of us to get a couple of items. There's a Mimic in there as well, hiding in a chest, and then we're going to take that. That's actually going to take us to a gargoyle, and we'll get the chance to chop off his tail again if he didn't get his tail weapon before. And then that path will also lead us into the next area. This, by the way, is a Firekeeper. You can kill her. You can also use her for reinforced Estus flasks. If you kill her, you'll get a Firekeeper soul, and you can, of course, go trade that to either the Fair White Lady or Anastasia. Fair White Lady, of course, is the lady who looks like a half human, half spider, and then Anastasia is our Firekeeper and Firelink Shrine. So, nice thing about this one is also kindled. Again, hence why there's a Firekeeper here. With that, though, we're going to go ahead and do some more level ups. We're getting ever closer to getting Vitality Endurance up to 30. Once we do, we're going to transition to doing the same to Strength and Dexterity. With that, we're up to level 48, and I think that's going to wrap it out for this episode, everyone. From here, we're going to move on into the other half, actually more like 3/4 of Anor Londo, and that's going to be probably a long episode just because it's a pretty big place, and there's a couple of bonfires leading to this too. So with that, though, thanks everybody for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you in the next one.